You can make this
Easy, you have 2 minutes.
for us.
Good, my bald spot for this side. It's
Smile for the camera.
Story
What's
slam.
going on, yeah.
Yeah, less going on.
Oh, yeah. That's really bad. I think that's a good one, it goes right on.
How's it maple syrup?
It was a lousy year, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we made barely 500 gallons and, like last year, or the year before, we made 800.
Yeah. Well, it just wasn't warm enough and cold enough.
Exactly. We didn't just, it was not a good year.
Oh, no, really?
Well,
That's some
production.
reason we had the tap for them, but that's like.
Well, we have quite a few trees that we made 500 gallons this year. That was a long year. Of syrup. Remember, that's 40 gallons of spent. 100 gallons of syrup.
I just got my bill for $3,000 to clear some dead trees in front of my house.
I know it's a thing.
That's a good job. It's like,
Yeah.
you can stand doing it.
It also has the highest fatality.
That's just it. I'm like,
of any
I
design.
never question the price. I see them up there and I'm just like, God bless you.
Not me.
I don't even
See where?
like to watch.
See you down there. Hey, you wanna do this? Extra one.
We're waiting
I
for
started
you.
recording because hopefully it's working and we're good.
Lights.
I didn't look at the email to see if you had sent that image, so
I did.
it's looking. If we
I
need it,
think I did.
it'll be up there. I didn't realize how late it was getting because it's so bright out and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, it's.
Yeah, right. In here.
True.
Okay, everybody, it is 6 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Woodstock Planning Board for April 3rd, 2025. We do have a quorum. Are there any updates to the agenda?
Just really briefly, I just want to apologize to the public and our people here and our board that we have had some major technology issues in the town. You guys know we're pretty set because I use my recorder, but I just wanted to make a point that we are aware, we're trying new things and they're working on it. And I'm sorry, but I always have a recording of our meetings and please don't ever hesitate to contact my office for them. Thank you.
Okay, we have the minutes from March 21. If everybody on the board is okay with them, we accept them as is.
Do I have the link for?
Yep. You're welcome.
Everybody good on the minutes?
Yeah, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, we do have a public hearing and then we have later on a request for an extension. And then afterwards, we want to finish our scenic overlay review. So I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting because, well, this probably will be in a minute. Okay. Let me introduce the case first. This is 1105 Route 28 LLC 18-0367 and SUP 18-0472. This is a public hearing for site plan review and special use permit applications to modify existing developed site and reestablish use as a gas station, renovate and enlarge store and install fuel supply system in the NC zoning district located 1105 Route 28 in Xenia, and represented by Cuddy and Fetter and Medenbach and Eggers. And first, I need to do a little backup here. We're about to open the public hearing. The public hearing to be open tonight was scheduled at the planning board's meeting last month. The proper procedure was followed in providing notice of the public hearing, but it's come to my attention that we have a loose end to tie up. While a motion to vote to schedule a public hearing was not legally necessary, the best practice is to have a vote to schedule. I'm advised that at our last meeting prior to directing the clerk to schedule a public hearing, we did not take a vote. In order to rectify that oversight and to adhere to the best practice, I would like to ask for a motion right now to ratify our action taken last month's meeting to schedule a public hearing on this matter. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? None, motion passes, and let's proceed to the public hearing. May I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. We may now open the public hearing.
I can't turn on the mic and there's a chance that people, although I don't see anybody on Zoom except down at Woodstock, so.
Which is the laptop.
So then I won't worry about it. Okay,
With that, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yep,
For the record, Taylor Palmer with the law firm of Kelly and Fader.
Can you, I
Oh, yeah.
don't know you.
I will announce Amanda.
Perfect.
So
Amanda have a last name?
she does.
Not with
You
that.
have to stay tuned. With that, again, Taylor Palmer with Kelly and Fader on behalf of the applicant. Tonight I am joined by our project engineer, Solomon Latham from Medenbach and Eggers. I'm also joined by our traffic consultant, Amanda La Rosa.
Nice to meet
There's gonna
you.
be a quiz at the end of this from Creighton Manning, as well, and we'll be shortly joined by our landscape architect, Karen Arendt, who will put the sort of bookend to this presentation about our landscaping plan. As you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, we are before you tonight, in consideration of our much anticipated, public hearing on the project, which was noticed in accordance with the town zoning regulations. So if I may, it's been a few minutes since we were last before you in December of last year, following our site visit with the board and the board's traffic consultant, which took place on December 7th. For the benefit of the board and again for the public that are here this evening, let me start from the beginning, back in 2019, back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean for any of you Lorex fans at home, so maybe not that far. Anyway, the public hearing tonight is for our site plan and special permit applications in connection with our application for a new gas station and a convenience store to be located at 1105 Route 28 here in Woodstock. And that was previously improved by a fueling station before, and of course, we've had discussions in the past about how the judge used to hold court at the gas station there. The proposal actually dates back, as I mentioned, to 2019, and the project team sort of evolved in and around 2023 to include the consultants that you have before you this evening, and of course, the changes to the project to make it fully zoning compliant as this project evolved. Locationally, you're all familiar with the Stewart's gas station and convenience store, which is on the north side of Xena Road. East of the signalized intersection with New York State Route 28, where Stewart's has access to both Xena and northbound New York State Route 28. The former gas station property where we're proposing to develop our new fueling station and convenience store is located diagonally across from that Stewart's gas station and convenience store on the southwest side of New York State 28 on the south and east sides of Basin Road. For the board's consideration and review tonight, we did just provide Melissa with a letter that we prepared, mostly just to summarize a lot of what we're going to say tonight, so that it can be part of the public record and of course accessible to anyone there. But it just went through our extensive efforts on this application to really detail how we've revised it, modified it to try and address the board's considerations and those from state and other agencies. So as to not steal the rest of my colleagues' talking points, let me just try and summarize that summary. And then I'll turn to Solomon to walk you through just again briefly the site plan. I'll then ask Amanda to just touch base on the traffic reporting, and know you've had your consultants review this previously. And then I have our landscape architect who will speak to those pretty pictures. So the project has been significantly revised and reduced in response to your comments, those of your consultants, as well as from the county and state and other agencies. It is now fully zoning compliant. It only proposes 3 total filling stations, so that's 6 pumps. Which represents a reduction from the 5 filling stations, which had 10 total pumps when this was originally proposed. Access into and out of the site along Route 28 has also been reduced to from a full movement to include adjusted entrance locations with limited access to New York State Route 28 with right in, right out only. This is consistent with the built environment in this area along 28, which of course includes the Stewart's directly across the street, which itself is a right in, right out off of the state highway. And there are a number of other images which Solomon will show of different sites along the 28 corridor, and that will help us really get a sense of, again, built environment in this area. Again, a significant landscaping program has also been developed from our earlier conversations when we were first on. The board had a very strong interest in sort of treating this like it was a gateway into the town. So we took that to heart and certainly put in a seriously detailed, and in my presentation in a moment, we'll touch on just how many trees, shrubs, perennials, and bulbs actually we're including in it. Here's Karen now. So during the lengthy presentation process and review process with the board, in addition to the site visits, this matter was referred to the county actually 3 separate times for their comment. And we've also met with the DOT, who actually, hot off the press, which is included in our letter, provided confirmation about conceptual approval for our access onto and off of Route 28. Solomon will also walk through this briefly, but we've also had communications with New York City DEP as it relates to our catch basins, which are updated. So with that, let me give you a brief synopsis of some of the changes since we last saw you, which are included in the site plans that you have and that Solomon has up here on the decks. So the driveways off of Route 28 have been shifted approximately 15 feet south. You all remember during the snowy site visit, we looked at where those entrance and exits are historically and where the county recommended that we try and shift them. So that resulted in the loss of a single parking space, and we still remain zoning compliant for that, but we also had to adjust the septic to account for those requested changes. A trench drain, trying to say that 5 times fast, has been added to the driveway accessing Basin Road. 3 of the 5 catch basins will be replaced. On-site grades were provided that shows the property can safely access. The landscaping plan, here it is, was updated to provide 31 trees, 133 shrubs, 201 perennials, and 382 bulbs. It's on the plan. The canopy was shortened by approximately 10 feet to accommodate the bioretention area. The bus stop on 28 has been shifted to the south. That, of course, requires DOT approval. The well's been shifted to a higher location. Internal square footages of the building provided just wasn't on the plan. Were significantly smaller than the convenience store at Stewart's. And then the slope canopy was also provided as an option. We had it as a flat canopy roof, but we provided that option for the board, which we realize is more of a architectural review component, but we have full optionality for you. So with that, I will turn to Solomon to walk you through the details of the site plan, then I'll ask Amanda.
I have a
Please.
question.
Oh, yes, please.
I'm looking at the map that I got with the April 3rd download, and it seems to have a date on it of 2023. That's not what you're showing us now. is it? Or is
That
it?
is not.
So I don't know what I'm looking at here, but I want to be able to put the map up on the screen. And I don't know if I've got the right file.
We have
Oh, you can get it, you can put it right up if you, that's perfect. I think what they got April 3rd is what Matt sent me. Did things might have changed something?
There would only been cleanup items, but they would have all been included. in that.
This says April 3rd meeting
Originally it was 23,
content,
but the-
That's all the stuff I
Are you
got.
looking at, are you looking at this
Yes,
date, or are you
look at that
looking
date.
at this date?
Well, I don't know if I can see what you're looking at, so let me find.
This date doesn't change from the moment. we
Okay.
We put the revisions in.
Hold on a second.
You might
It's
have
in the
it.
site
Oh.
plan PDF, right? Okay.
Cause I think they were I think they were all up to date, cause Max and I went back and forth a few times.
If you zoom in right
Yeah,
here.
zooming in on a PDF is kind of a pain. in the-
Thank you, Ted.
Yes, it is. Oh, come on. This is not designed for this sort of thing. I want everybody to be able to see this.
Yeah. this-
Fuck.
Thank you, Solomon.
Now it seems to be unknown. All right, so we need to go back to the right page, which is the first
First page.
page with the green.
Mhm.
And the question is, can I get it to show it to me? That, right, but I can't see that, it's too small. Let me see if I can get a little bigger. It gives me on these things in a way that actually is helpful.
And your date right here is the same.
11/11/24. Okay, in that case, I'm gonna take this,
Yeah.
blow it up, and I'm gonna do the change. Thank you very much.
My little,
Appreciate, sorry if I slowed things down a little bit. but
No
I would like
worries.
People to see this.
we appreciate your
Come
efforts.
on, go on.
We would have had to do the same to get Solomon to make his presentation, so.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot more to add. You pretty much covered everything. So if you have any questions, I mean, obviously, feel free to ask. Yes,
The question that I had is that there was a discussion about not being able to enter here, but to come through. Our traffic consultant had said that there would be, you would be coming in through Basin Road. That's not happening.
So, yeah,
Or
we're not
up the
quite to
back
that
here.
presentation yet, but we'll get to that just a moment.
Okay,
So,
because this is
Yep.
still, from
Yes.
somebody who uses this road all the time, this is still an incredible impact. There was a couple of weeks ago, there was a horrible accident there. This is gonna be a nightmare.
we're gonna go
Days.
through, yeah, we're gonna present that now and how the DOT again approved this concept and how it's consistent through the quarter. And we hear you, and we think part of what we presented, including at the site visit, was watching vehicles, for example, make the illegal left turn into the Stewarts, going through 2 lanes of traffic. Those are where those accidents are really being caused, not by vehicles turning in here. In fact, this project, by having that opportunity for folks, for example, leaving the rail trail in the parking areas, would be turning right in and right out, avoiding those illegal lefts that have oftentimes been the culprit for those incidences. But why don't we will touch on that. I don't want to speak, if you'd like, we can shift rather from Solomon's presentation to the traffic transportation. But I think Solomon, I think the site plan, I think we know functionally, but why don't you just highlight the 2 entrances and then we can go through
So-
the DOT portion.
we have one entrance through Basin Road, which is a 30-foot wide entrance. It's a 2-way entrance with no restrictions. It is the main entrance for trucks as well. In fact, the truck.
Unfortunately, don't have a big arrow, but if you look up there on the left-hand side, you can see that entrance.
Left side, yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the truck movement showing how the truck would enter and exit the sites. The truck is required to enter through that entrance, cannot enter through Route 28.
But it exits onto 28.
Yes, there's no way. to make
Right
it
hand
exit.
only.
Right hand only.
Right hand only, and there's the stoplight there, so the vehicles have to accelerate from that stoplight rather than Stewart's, for example, where you're coming down the hill towards their entrance.
And it's an uphill. From here.
Exactly.
That's uphill.
That's all.
So you have the main entrance, which would be also the truck entrance, and you have the main truck exits, which is a right only onto
That's the lower part of what you see on
Route
the
28.
screen.
got it.
yes, right.
Right in off of 28, right out of 28, and then you have a full circulation at Basin Road. And as you all know, from Basin Road, there is the overpass, which again connects with the rail trail. So there is that overpass there beyond that. The trucks won't be going further than that, but now also would have a release valve if they accidentally turn down a basin there to come through the site,
Yes, which they don't have right
which they don't have present, correct?
So as also mentioned, it is gonna be 6 pumps. For 3 columns. It is 2,400 square foot convenience store. We are currently working on approval for the septic. That is in front of Ulster County Health Department right now.
Catch basins about, yeah, so let's speak to DEP.
Oh, DEP, yes, we met with DEP out there. They were concerned about the catch basins, and requested that we replace them. So we will be having that done as well. These 3 catch basins, 1, 2, and 3.
What are their concerns and what are the replacements going to do?
The capacity to handle the flow of water,
They're just too small.
they're
in
just-
view.
yeah, and one of them's, this one is completely covered right now, so it's absolutely of no use.
All right,
Now, one more presentation, then we're all set. Go ahead, man.
Good evening. My name is Amanda LaRosa from Creighton Manning. My firm prepared a traffic impact study that was updated several times with the iterations of the site plan, as you had heard. This traffic impact study included a data collection effort, trip generation projections. The main point of gas stations being located on a highway is that it's attracting customers who are already driving by, rather than a use like a shopping mall that's, drawing people from their house specifically to the use. We also included some site distance analyses in that report, and some coordination with DOT was summarized in that report, and it has been reviewed by the town's consultant. There have been a few back and forths with the town's consultant, comments and comment response letters from my office. As you've heard, we have submitted to DOT and we refreshed the submission with the latest site plan. We did get confirmation today that DOT is on board with the reduction in the number of gasoline station pumps and the shifting of the driveway a bit further south away from the intersection. And they issued a letter dated today, April 3rd, indicating that they provide their conceptual approval of the right-in, right-out driveway on Route 28 with the pork chop driveway there. That concludes
Okay,
my
so
presentation.
this is a public hearing before, I'll let the public speak, and when you do speak, please give your name to Melissa, so she has it. I want to explain to the public, that they have been, this is about the 4th time they've been before us. And the reason that we keep coming back is that this board has not accepted the site plan as is. And the reason for that is that we consider the entrance off of Route 28 into this gas station is very dangerous. DOT said it is not permitted. The Stewart's across the road. DOT said they should not go in and out off of 28, so that's under review. Our town code does not permit it. This turn off of Route 28 is within 100 feet of the traffic light of the intersection. So the reason that we're back here again is we don't accept the site plan as presented. So I just want everybody to know that that's why we are continuing this review. So members of the public, if you have something to speak, please give your name to Melissa.
We did have one more presentation just from our landscape architect for the visuals. So I may, Mr. Chairman, it's your direction. We did have that, and I would just to clarify, DOT did approve conceptually this application in our.
Well, we have a letter where DOT said they did not want entrances coming off of Route 28 into either Stewart's. They didn't like that,
Stewart's.
and we have now got a letter to DOT, and we are waiting for their response of the entire intersection, and that's one of the reasons, as you'll see later, we're gonna keep the public hearing open.
Understood, and sorry, then with that, I'll ask Karen just to give you a brief presentation to the visual, and to the extent you're able to access it, the landscaping plan is.
Further down in this.
Yes.
What's your last name? I'm sorry.
It's orange,
Okay,
See the primer?
It's like the contraction from.
Thank you.
Karen, landscape architect.
No,
No,
That's not landscape.
no, that's not the line. So it would have been set separate.
Pretty though, drainage.
Hold on, because I'm gonna have to. Find it. So I have landscape plan. Got it. Okay.
sounds right.
Just get it open and then we'll. And it's one sheet,
Did you get me the
which
deal?
makes life easier.
It's in that packet, it's in that packet.
All right.
Making sure.
I don't like the. It's just not.
Not, hold on.
Okay, here we go.
Can I ask a question about the trucks? while we're getting that up? So you might know this, or you might know this. Do the trucks generally come from the throughway on 28, or where do they come from? Do you know? Because you have this nice little thing here where they slide right up here and go right in, which is nice. This would be, are you saying they come this direction, take a left turn onto Basin Road, and they cut this corner and go in?
Yeah, this plan demonstrates that a truck coming from either direction could enter the site.
And it would be turning left at the end.
Blow that up so we get more.
Yeah, if you can blow up the
Well, just to follow up on James' point there, our traffic consultant who reviewed this said that this is a very dangerous intersection. Does not suggest we allow entrance off of 28 onto that. And also he pointed out that if you did come off of 28 into this gas station, you would have to make a U-turn in order to get to the pumps. And he said if there's any traffic, then cars on 28 will be blocked from coming in. And it's an issue that is, as we're seeing, has already happened down on 375.
If I may, just for the purpose of the record, to clarify, your traffic consultant at the site visit identified the potential or an interest in potentially having a turn lane into the site, which is not merited by the DOT's review. And what we did was we prepared, Solomon has it here, a corridor analysis of all of the right turn, right in, right out, and full operable service locations along the corridor between Kingston and here and beyond, in West Hurley. So the actual operating conditions are consistent with what's proposed, and your consultant suggested it, but DOT didn't agree. And again, DOT provided conceptual proof, so we appreciate that the board.
Okay, well, our consultant did point out that there's more accidents on that particular area there than anywhere else, and it's a particularly difficult section of Route
On
28.
that particular intersection compared with other similar intersections.
And what we're suggesting for this purpose is that vehicles have been illegally turning left across 2 lanes of traffic, among other things, with the Stewart's operations. And when our project comes online, that condition, which is creating the dangerous condition, which we all witnessed, well, to the extent of those that were with us, we watched a town vehicle, we watched 2 other private vehicles within the hour that we were there, illegally turn left into the Stewart's gas station across those lanes of traffic.
Exactly.
If our gas station is online, they will not do that. They will come up to our site, turn right in and right out. There will be no unsafe conditions. So this is helping to improve that. We appreciate the
So
concern.
that's why we have a letter into the state DOT to review that entire intersection. And we'll be waiting for their result.
I would just add a note that the driveway that we're proposing has 12-foot wide lanes, which is significantly less wide than the Stewart's. The Stewart's has about 20-foot wide on the ingress and the egress, which is why you're seeing some of those left turns, because it's possible, because the driveway's wider. This narrower driveway is really going to
Well,
deter.
DOT said they only wanted Stewart's to enter off of Xena Road. They did not want entrance off of 28.
Mhm.
We have a letter from DOT saying that.
Right.
So
But at
we're
the
gonna
time
try
that
to correct
Stewart's came in, they didn't tell us that, so.
Yeah.
We have a situation that we.
Yeah, we hope to help fix that, but Karen's here to talk about the pretty picture stuff.
Hi. So the objective of our landscape plan is to create an attractive view from across the intersection, across Basin Road and Road, just because that I think is where you be seeing the gas station the most. So as you can see up top, there's a crescent shaped bed. We put 3 small trees, low growing trees. They're hot hornbeam, they're native plants. Most of the landscaping in here is native. Underneath it is a hedge of Ilex glabra, shamrock, apiary holly. It gives a black backdrop to the multitude of flowering plants involved in the foreground on the street side, and also around the end. Of the monument sign has a small tree and lots of perennials as well. Some combination, one of the combinations is butterfly weed, which is orange, and giant allium, which is purple, and they'll be blooming at the same time to get rid of pop. We put some shade trees in the back, red maples, to give a backdrop and also provide shade on the pavement to reduce the urban heat island effect. And there's a lot of screening in the back for the property beyond to give a backdrop. And then on this side, there is more, these are more low growing popcorn beans to help screen and soften the view of the store. And then this is a stormwater management basin, and it's filled with winterberry holly, which have great red berries in the winter until the birds eat them all. And it's got male and female so that they proliferate. I've used them a lot in bioretention areas, and they really perform well. So that basically.
What is in the little loop by the driveways?
This year?
Yeah.
That's a hopcorn of this particular tree is one that's not native, but we noticed it's doing very well in the area. It's the Japanese tree lilac. They're not invasive, but it'll give you some summer color. And then underneath it is Zagreb coreopsis, which blooms almost the entire summer and has really pretty grass-like, not grass-like, but
How high?
this high.
My concern is somebody coming Kingston bound. And obviously the first driveway is the in, which is not so bad, but then the out might not be so visible to somebody coming down the hill.
Yeah, this is set back quite a distance.
we'll make sure, we'll
Yeah,
have
we'll
our
check.
traffic consultant confirm that there's no site
The
distances.
boss over there. I don't think
Up there, you can
traffic
see the
consultants-
U-turn. This is the issue, with our traffic. You'd have to turn around there and they're afraid you get jammed up there and there's a car stuck out on 28. That's the issue. One of the issues. All right, so thank you very much.
That's our presentation.
Members of the public, if you have any questions for the applicants?
I just wanna, who's here that would like to speak? I know Mel. Mike, do you wanna speak?
Yes.
Okay, no? Okay, I'm gonna let Mike speak first. Mike, you wanna come on up?
Now, we don't have traffic for Mike, right? We only have one for now.
No, yep, only for Mel. Board, everyone in the public, this is Mike Bombs, the town of Hurley supervisor. Welcome, Mike.
Yeah, I'm here as a resident of that area, not a supervisor right now. But as I'm watching this and looking at this thing, now I'm concerned as a supervisor. Because that area there is so totally congested, because when you have people coming out of the rail trail and they want to make, if they want to make a left-hand turn, they can't. They have to go down, make a right-hand turn, get to that triangle and Basin Run, then make like a U-turn this way. And now you can have cars and trucks coming the other way into that thing. That's a dangerous situation. There have been many accidents there that I've witnessed living here, and I have been told as a supervisor, that's a dangerous thing. And what you're doing right now is you're taking the entrance into the garage further south. In other words, Basin Road actually comes straight and then curves to the left as you're going south. Now so you actually have these trucks coming around this thing. That's a dangerous situation there. I mean, I came here because when I first saw the plans were in and out on both sides. So cars can come in from 28 into the gas station. Now we have to enter Basin Road. Basin Road's a real tricky turn. I mean, it's really serious and very dangerous there. And again, when you have the rail trail making that, they want to make a left-hand turn, you can't come down, make a right-hand turn into Basin Road, then make a U-turn. That's congestion. And not only that, though, I don't know if you're aware of this thing with the trestle that's further south on Basin Road. You can't accept trucks going out there. That trestle is 11 feet tall. You have trucks that are 12 feet tall and so forth. We've already had one truck get stuck underneath there so many times there. So like, you only have one access for trucks to get in there, and that is not a real conducive situation. As a resident, I use that all the time. As a supervisor, I'm really worried about this thing here because you are inviting accidents, and you are. And you know, I've noticed cars also make that illegal left-hand turn into Stewart's. They're gonna make these illegal left-hand turns anyway, coming here, no matter what it is, unless you get like troopers there and sheriff's department to park there. You're gonna get all these people coming in illegally, going through it. How are you gonna control that? You can't. I'm concerned both as a resident there and as a town supervisor. These are my people that use that entrance there. And there's too many accidents that I've seen there and heard about this.
Thank you. Do you want us to, just for point of information, Mr. Chairman, Assistant Professional Chairman,
Or do we just come back on?
do you want us to respond or do you want us to do?
No, that's okay. Let the other,
Yeah.
let the other members speak if they want.
Thank you, Supervisor Bombs. Mel, come on up. This is Mel Sadownik, the board's familiar, he's been in touch, and you're with him.
Yeah.
Ingrid, his wife.
Ingrid is white.
We both
Perfect.
live in
This
a
is Lisa.
resident of West Berlin. So, I would like to address this, project. The first thing I want to mention is traffic dangers. That intersection is already one of the most dangerous intersections in Ulster County. Between January 1st, 2016 and May 31st, 2021, there were 60 collisions as noted by the DOT. 33% higher rate than other similar intersections. One of the claims that developers have made is that there are no negative adverse environmental impacts. And I just want to mention that New York secret law makes it entirely clear that the following are to be considered adverse environmental impacts. Number one, activities that negatively affect traffic safety. 2, activities that create traffic congestion. 3, activities that interfere with the right of way ingress and egress. I think this project is guilty of all 3. So there are several scenarios in which the addition of this gas station convenience store to the already existing dangerous traffic situation would occur. So one, that we wanted to show you, already before the gas station is there, people driving on Xena Road and wanting to get towards Kingston or New York are making a left. People from Basin Road at the same light signal, that light turns green for the cross traffic, also are emerging. And very often, the Xena Road and the Basin Road people are aiming for the very same lane.
Yes.
Even though the law is a little bit different, and I know you have to watch very carefully out of either direction not to have a collision. So it's already a little bit dangerous, but if you're careful, you're okay. But then you add a gas station there on 28, just below Basin Road, and it becomes even more complicated. Now you've got those two things, and then you've got cars exiting from the gas station onto 28. They're going a little bit slower, so the Basin Road and Xena Road have to figure out what to do with these additional cars. I think it becomes a very hazardous situation.
I want to add something to what you're saying. The road actually is not a right angle. The intersection is not a right angle. 28 is angled up this way,
yeah.
which is one of the reasons people tend to go into the right lane instead of the left lane like they're supposed to.
Right, it's not right. Our rocks was a little bit off. Okay.
But it adds to the difficulty because it's harder to make that left turn into the correct lane.
Very difficult to make that sharp turn, can't,
I tried to do it.
yeah,
But
but.
Yeah, so once again, diminishing traffic safety is considered an adverse environmental impact procedure. Similarly, the Woodstock zoning law 260-4 calls upon the Woodstock Planning Board to responsibly, quote, promote and protect public health and safety. I think traffic is part of the safety that the board is called upon. So that's just a little introduction to the traffic aspect of this. And I do want to address a slightly different one, which tends to be a concern for the residents of Hurley and West Hurley. That gas station convenience store will be built right there in that little section of Basin Road. And Basin Road is actually a small winding road, only 10 feet wide, with barely any shoulders. Now where, and part of the project would be demolishing the existing building under, excavating and building underground grass tanks. That whole project would turn into multiple trucks needing to be there at the same time. If you pass by the Dunkin' Donuts project while it was under construction, I did, and often there were 10, 11, 12 construction trucks there. At this Basin Road site, there's no room for any. In fact, if you drive down Basin Road and someone has a flat tire, or if there's been a traffic accident, of which there are many, what happens is they don't circle the cars around the accident or the flat tire. There's no room to put a car. So the police come and they tell everybody who's online and wants to go somewhere, you have to get out of line and go somewhere else. There's no passage. So what would happen if instead of this little road with little traffic having multiple trucks, construction trucks, it would create almost an impossible situation for access.
And I would like to add that there are a lot of trucks there already, because further down on Basin Road is Woodstock Landscaping, and they have quite a few trucks.
No, one more.
Yeah, a little bit.
Take your time.
Oh, so I just want to quote Secret Law 210-40. And the problem with this particular thing is access. And 210-40 Secret Law said a special use permit shall not be granted if the new use interferes with or negatively impacts access, ingress or egress to through traffic on the street. And I'm afraid this project will do exactly that. So I think the project should be doomed and really, because of the geography and the traffic, it really can't be mitigated. So, thank you for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the?
I have one. Is there anybody else in the audience? We received one letter and the board would just like me to read it. That we're here and it's on the record. Esteemed planners, this is from Stuart Auchincloss, who lives on 2342 Glasswood Turnpike. I regret that I am unable to attend the public hearing on April 3rd, but I have a prior commitment. However, I would like to relate to you an incident that happened to me last week, which I think bears on this application. Coming from Kingston on Route 28, I turned right onto Levon Helm Boulevard, Route 375. I had to stop very quickly because there was a car stop right in front of me attempting to turn left into the Dunkin' Donuts. It was blocked by the line of cars on 375 waiting for the light on Route 28 to turn green. I was able to stop safely, but that was harder for the car right behind me because I was that much closer to Route 28. I didn't see if there was another car behind that one, but if there was, it would have had to stop on Route 28, even though the light on Route 28 was green for westbound traffic. I don't know how the new gas station at Reservoir Road plans to route traffic in and out, but I don't think the traffic patterns are working very well at Route 375. Perhaps the Stewarts across the road has more land, so there is more room for traffic to see and be seen. The parcel on the Reservoir Road side of Route 28 doesn't have the same room. Cars coming straight across Route 28 from Xena Road will have the same issues I experienced last week on Route 375. Thank you for taking our safety into consideration as you analyze this request. Stuart Auchincloss. Taylor, I'll turn it over to you.
Real briefly, Mr. You wanted to say Supervisor, Mr. Chairman, and members of the board. Thank you for the members of the public that spoke this evening. I do just want to provide some just brief responses. Turning first to those comments from the supervisor, I may ask Amanda to elaborate a bit further, but there was a mention of how trucks will be sort of coming on the slip ramp of Basin Road, and it was the rightful mention of the overpass that's there. Right now, there's nowhere for those trucks to go. If they were to come to that overpass, and as we noted during our presentation, this will actually provide an opportunity for trucks that have made those wrong turns, not just coming into our site to make those circulation to come into our site, but to get through and avoid that issue if they make that mistake. Separate from that, there's a lot of mentions by the second speaker that spoke to seeker. This is a type 2 action. It's exempt from the seeker review. For all intents and purposes, we've still prepared a traffic report. We've gone through all of these very detailed submissions and deliverables, including a traffic report and otherwise. So while it is not subject to environmental review pursuant to seeker, we did provide all of this information to further try and address those concerns of the board. Lastly, it seems to be this theme tonight of Dunkin'. We are not a Dunkin' drive-through. We are not a Dunkin' Donuts. We know that was a big project in West Hurley. We're certainly familiar that I almost stopped there tonight, but I didn't want to bring that product. I felt like it might really still have some resonance here. We're not Dunkin' Donuts. We are not Stewarts. We are a new proposal trying to reinvigorate a gas station that had been on this site and try and create a better condition that will hopefully resolve issues that you're all facing seemingly daily at this intersection. This will bring people to the site. This will help passersby see it. The speedier you get on 28 is usually because there's nothing along the highway. This will activate that frontage. That'll get people out there. That'll make sure that that's new circulation plans. And this plan has been adjusted and revised to ensure that it is the maximum safety for this site. And hopefully with that, we can help convince the board, and maybe to the extent as the chairman mentioned, when DOT provides maybe further comment, although they've already approved our proposal conceptually, then we can help convince you that this will be the right thing for this location and for the town, and hopefully really resolving the issues that you all continue to present as being a concern at this intersection. So thank you for all this time letting us speak, and we're certainly here to address any other comments that you.
Okay, you made mention of the existing gas station. I just want to point out that that 28 was a 2-lane road at the time, and that gas station had one pump. It is nothing like what is being proposed. So,
and it was there before the Stewart, it was dead before the Stewart came in.
oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
And our site is exactly the same as Stewart's, with only 3 filling stations that have 6 full pumps. So we're the exact same number of pumps, and actually a smaller convenience store than is operating at Stewart's.
And a lot less land.
It's fully zoning compliant.
That's not my point. Stewart's was built after that gas station was dead. Stewart's has larger land than you do, and it's in a different relationship to the angles of the road.
Right, and we've submitted now, we understand that. And we have submitted through our traffic report that Stewart's is actually a worse operating condition because it's down a hill on 28 where vehicles have to make the, coming at speed,
Well,
whereas we're in acceleration.
We would clearly agree if somebody like this DOT said to Stewart's, they have to close that 28 lane.
Yep.
No question.
Understood.
Board members have questions? I'm not going to close. Sorry, go ahead, sir.
Can you do me a favor? Can you pull up what Mel's picture was?
Yes.
Cause I just saw another problem.
We can pull up our site plan, which actually shows the right angles. Why don't we pull up our site plan?
Well, that is.
Well, I wanna see- I wanna see
That's
that
what I
triangle.
just had up there.
Well, no, Mel had a hand drawing, right?
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying.
This is your site plan.
Mike, feel free to come approach.
I thought you were.
Oh, I
If you
can.
want Mel's, I'll give you Mel's, but this is more accurate in terms of.
It doesn't matter, the way the roads are. Here's my concern again, because what I'm seeing is this. This is the triangle, right?
Yeah.
All right, any cars coming from this side from 28 coming here, there's a stop sign right here. All right, now what's gonna happen basically is you're now having all the cars that wanna come in here are gonna go down, make a left-hand turn here, come this way and enter this way, in a sense. What's gonna happen here is these cars are gonna have to be stopped here. And now because you're gonna pile up here, you have cars back here, back here. Now, right here is a curve. So you're gonna wind up having cars backed up possibly onto 28, where cars coming this way, I'm not gonna see those cars. It's on a turn. The logistic, in my opinion, stinks. Because you're really having an accident coming this way. While that stop sign there, especially when you have trucks coming this way, that can take really a hard left-hand turn to get in here. It's gonna cause more back on that side there. And that's gonna cause a lot of possible car accidents there, even more so than that. That to me is a major concern. Is that aspect of it. I don't know if, how do you address that?
If I may,
Oh,
I know it's supposed to, we're back and forth with your board, so I'm gonna speak to you all rather than the supervisor. And again, appreciate the feedback. Again, this feels like I'm talking about a Dunkin'. I regularly represent Dunkin' drive-throughs. I'm currently and have successfully litigated 2 Dunkin' drive-through matters. This isn't a drive-through. We don't have queuing. We don't have those backups that are being described. We are not that type of a use for a gas station. So the operations, the hours, the utilization that's being expressed really is a hangover from a Dunkin' discussion.
That's what happens at Stewart. I've seen Stewart's backed up to this car's out on 28, can't get in.
Well, understood, but we've gone through the analysis, we've prepared that, we've looked at the queuing, and we've looked at the site distance. To the, again, mentioned by the supervisor are, if we limit our access to Basin Road only, you probably could have that condition. But we're proposing access to 28. To ameliorate that, vehicles coming from, whether it's the rail trail from West Hurley, headed towards Kingston, are gonna make entrances off of 28, not through Basin Road. So I think the supervisors made an interesting point that if we don't have the access that we're talking right in, right off 28, you could have actually a worse condition if we're limited to Basin Road. So that's how we probably adjust that comment.
All right, board members, any questions?
Hold on, hang on one second.
One more.
Mel?
Someone from the development team mentioned that we are type 2 action. My understanding is that's what they hope to be. In reality, at least my understanding is they have not been classified, and perhaps a type 1 or unclassified would be more appropriate, since they do have adverse environmental impacts.
Well, sir, we went through that. It's a good point. We went through that, but our consultants explained that because of the square footage difference, it's not class 1.
They are plastic.
All right, so I'm gonna make a motion or accept the motion to recess the public hearing to the call of the chair pending further review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. For the public, for you
Thank
folks
you.
out there, the public hearing is still open and we are going to assign another date where we will continue this.
If I may, just for a date certain for continuation of the public hearing, so that we don't have to renotice the hearing, if there are dates certain, we could at least schedule it to. That way there's the public or those, we have to have a date certain, so to the extent.
We don't have a date yet.
What would, we have to have a date certain leaving this meeting, or we'll have to be renoticed?
Then I'll
That will be
renotice.
renoticed.
Then I'll renotice.
Okay.
All right,
Very
no
good.
worries.
Understood. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
You got your public moment. Thank you, guys.
And Judy, you have the flash drive.
It's right here.
Oh, that's for me.
Unless you want.
No, I don't need-
Thank you, thank you,
She'll
thank
send,
you.
she
Yes,
sends me
thank you.
anything she needs.
And she has physical copies.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, board.
Okay, planning board members. Our next case is luckily quite easy.
You're welcome.
If you all remember, we had an applicant on Rich Road that wanted to set the old it used to be a
Spa,
spa, right?
still a spa.
Um,
In the
and,
field with some statues for bird cliffs.
This was.
They wanna do a sculpture garden?
Right.
It was right before COVID. They came to us. Everything was great. They had a planner they literally, they paid the final development fee. We just had to sign the paperwork. It was all done. Then COVID happened and they put it on hold. So
No,
now
it's
they,
not permanent, right? It's.
nope,
No.
temporary,
It's a
couple
short-term
months.
thing.
Yep. I think June through October. So it was all approved, ready to go. I got a email and a call the other day. There's a new curator. They want to bring it back, work with Bird Cliff. I went and I met with Butch and I said, listen, I know a year we usually kill things and make them reapply, but because this was so easy and it went through fine, I'm asking for an extension. We're gonna pick up right where we left off.
This was before Jeannie, but I think James was on and I'm sure
think so.
John was on.
I
Yes,
remember it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was before
plans and,
Jeannie.
yep.
So
So, yeah.
we're proposing to, renew, to extend their application.
I second it.
All in
Fine
favor?
with me.
Very good, excellent.
James Conrad.
Our last issue, which should be another easy one, because we've been through it over and over, and it's our final review of the scenic overlay code. And
Yes.
Judy's made revisions back and forth,
You've been having some.
We've been doing a lot, yeah.
So,
so,
editing by committee.
so I don't know if you've all read our recent revisions.
So I gave you guys the revisions at Judy. I haven't had time to put them in. We finished that up kind of late this afternoon,
Yeah.
but I will.
A little small,
But I mean-
We're there and I will make it and send it off.
I mean, basically, it was, we wanted to get the words mountain into it.
We don't
Clarification,
want we
clarity.
don't want the change that they in wording about the 1,200 limit because they were
Right.
making it worse instead of.
And again, we don't know if they're gonna entertain any of it because they only wanted us to address one paragraph. But we'll get it out tomorrow morning and then you guys have and I'll email you the final copy just so you have it.
Yeah,
I just
We've
wanna-
agreeing with them. We raised a couple of specific questions about the tree trunk,
Oh,
about the
absolutely.
cost of wood per acre. And what they had said, which was, I don't remember the wording exactly,
there
at or.
was a little
No, at,
ambiguousness,
not above.
but I think it got solved by the fact it's up to the
Z.
building inspector, the CEO, to make those calls. Because it says it's not something we can define according to the code. So it have to be up to the building inspector, what trees are necessary and what isn't, and we said we can get arborists or whatever, but. I think it's very good what we got, it's better than it was. And
I just want to touch really quickly, we spoke about the wetlands and the new regulations, and we left, and we said we were going to write a letter to the town board, but prior to that, we sent a memo that was quick, just saying, we're aware of this, we're working on this, and Peter and I talked after, and I met with Butch. This is all new to us, these new regulations, and we're all kind of working through it, so we're not gonna send a detailed letter yet. We're gonna go with it. We are in close communication with our attorney, John Lyons. We are headed on the right path for this, and we are aware and know that we need these jurisdictional determinations, and Butch does too, so we're gonna just ride the wave for a little bit.
Let
right
me
now.
ask about it though.
Yeah, of course,
If we're talking about jurisdictional determination.
They're-
when it
they're
comes to
working on
Cena
it.
Homes,
they're working on it. They submitted.
they submitted.
I'm on it.
And by the way, what I just signed when I sat down
Oh, yes.
is a letter that we're sending to the DOT.
In
Ask
reference
him-
to this project.
To ask them to review that intersection completely.
Yep. with Mr. Lyons' help.
Yes, and not, I don't know if you specified this, but not assume that the way Stewart's is ought to be left the way it is.
I had a good letter. John made it excellent.
Well, he's a lawyer.
Right, Peter?
Yeah, he's a lawyer, he should do that.
So I'll shoot you guys that out too, but I'm gonna mail that tomorrow because we've been working on that for a couple of months.
All right,
Yeah.
anybody else have any questions, or we can go for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Beautiful. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, James, we're down on Sickler Road. I went up and did that survey for the guy that wanted to put the big